A warm welcome to the world today. Here's what's coming up on the program. Survivors of October 7 attacks gather at Tel Aviv Memorial for Nobel Festival victims. Israel deports Greta Thunberg and other Gaza Flotilla activists. Plus, French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu resigns hours after unveiling his cabinet. Let's begin the world today. Hamas has arrived in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, for indirect talks with Israel on President Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan, and so have the Israeli negotiators. The talks are being mediated by Egypt and Qatar and is aimed at reaching a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. According to Palestinian and Egyptian officials, the sessions are focused on creating the field conditions for a possible exchange that would see the release of all Israeli hostages in return for a number of Palestinian prisoners. Other sticking points in the Gaza plan are Hamas disarmament, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu repeatedly stating that he will not stop until the group is finished. Hamas has made no mention of the disarmament in its response to the plan. The plan also states that Gaza would be governed by a temporary transitional body of Palestinian technocrats involving international leaders and then eventually be handed over to the Palestinian Authority. There's also no clear timeline for full Israeli withdrawal, something Hamas will likely want to clarify. Well, Tuesday, October 7, will make it exactly 2 years since Hamas invaded Israel, kidnapping many Israelis and leaving behind blood and tears. Hundreds of bereaved families, survivors and friends on Sunday night gathered in Tel Aviv for a memorial ceremony organized by the Nova Tribe Community Association. Attendees laid flowers and watched video tributes. One survivor said he came to remember and help others heal as a community. The Nova Music Festival was held in the Reim area near the Gaza border as part of the Sukkot holiday celebrations in 2023. In the early morning hours of October 7, Hamas terrorists stormed the festival grounds during their surprise attack on southern Israel, killing 378 people and kidnapping dozens more.
I'm here to remember, to get together with all my community and to remember all those who gone in the 7th of October and to help one another to heal as a community, because it's difficult days for all the country, for all the Nova community, all the kibbutzes from Gaza. The 7th of October will always be a traumatic date, and that's why we're making this ceremony, come together and remember. I want to believe in peace. I want to believe it's optional. I wish nobody here in Israel wants to live in war. It's a situation nobody wants to, but I still didn't get any sign that we have anyone to talk with in the other side. And as long as we have hostages over there, there's nothing to discuss. No peace will be until the hostages will come back.
Yodong was murdered in the October 7 in the Nova Peace Festival. He was missing for 8 days, and after 8 days, the army came and tell us the best story. Since then, we are trying to cherish his memory in many ways, and we are here today to get together with all the parents that lost their child, their loved ones in this day. Trump is the best thing that happened to Israel in many years. I must tell you, I think he's a good guy, and I wish him good health. It's very, very good for Israel.
Let's bring in author and security analyst Paul Saul Satka. He joins us from Tel Aviv. Saul, a pleasure having you on the program today.
Good to be with you.
Right, so we're less than 12 hours away from the second anniversary of the October 7 attack. How is all of Israel feeling today?
There's a feeling of somberness. People are understanding that the world changed 2 years ago, particularly here in Israel, but that things could be a lot worse. And that 2 years ago, when things looked their bleakest, no one who was here on that day will forget that day as we watched what was happening. There was no one in Israel who wasn't personally affected, who didn't know someone who was somehow involved on a personal level, many friends of mine. But when we look back, we realize that it was a turning point for this country and indeed for the entire Middle East. And in the long run, it will be looked back on as a turning point for the better. But today, tomorrow, we'll be remembering the dead, even though it is the Sukkot festival.
Right, and 2 years on, there's still mediation and, discussions going on for a ceasefire and for hostages to return from both sides. As we speak, delegates have arrived in Egypt for the negotiation on the Gaza peace plan. Are you eager to see Hamas accept the deal in totality?
Absolutely. Hamas is being decimated. There's very little left of them. There are gangs of people holding 20 hostages, down from 252 at the start. And they really have nothing to negotiate with apart from those hostages. Once those hostages have been handed over, that's the end for them. And they know that. It's not a peace treaty that they're signing. If they sign it, it's a capitulation and a way for a few of them to escape justice. I really hope they accept it, because the people who will suffer if they don't accept it are, apart from the 20 Israeli hostages, the nearly 2 million citizens who still live in Gaza, most of whom are absolutely fed up with Hamas. Even the ones that supported Hamas from the beginning fully understand that Hamas brought ruin and defeat and humiliation upon them.
And what do you think, could happen next if the rest of this deal is rejected by Hamas? You're hopeful that they will accept the deal, but they have already accepted to release the Israeli hostages in exchange for the hundreds of Palestinians also in Israeli jails. What do you think would be Prime Minister Netanyahu's move if they refuse to agree to the rest of the deal?
Netanyahu's move is straight out. You said it, and Trump is also behind him. If the Hamas guys do not agree to a almost immediate release of all the hostages, then the IDF will continue its operations, which have never at any point really stopped. The IDF is already in control of over 80% of the Gaza Strip, with Hamas just controlling perhaps 10% properly. There are various criminal gangs and groups that Israel is building up to be a replacement for Hamas in the future, potentially, who are taking over other parts of the Strip. Hamas has no future. To the extent that Hamas are able to drag things out, all it means is that more of Gaza is going to get wrecked, and the Gazan people are going to suffer more. But the IDF has absolutely no problem at all to complete the task of destroying the rest of what remains of Hamas. They would rather not do it, because people will suffer and die for the need, and the hostages are at risk. But they can do it, and my guess is that if within a week Hamas hasn't actually signed the deal and begun, or completed even, handing over the remaining hostages and the bodies that they kidnapped, that the IDF will continue their advances. And I would say 2 or 3 months should be enough to complete the job. The Gazans themselves are very unhappy and are increasingly putting pressure on Hamas.
Right.
There are currently ongoing gang fights between Hamas and other groups in Gaza. And the Gazans are heading into their third winter. The vast majority of the Gazans now are living in tents and temporary accommodation, and the winter is starting. These are not people who are happy. Essentially, eventually, they will boot out Hamas. It's only a question of how soon, even if Hamas do reject the deal.
Right. Saul, thanks again for your time on the program. We do hope for a beneficial outcome for all parties involved in this crisis. Well, Israeli authorities say they have deported to Greece and Slovakia another 171 people detained for taking part in a Gaza-bound aid flotilla, including prominent Swedish activist Greta Thunberg. Israel's foreign ministry posted on X that the deportees included citizens of more than 15 countries. The post included photos of Swedish activist Greta Thunberg and other activists wearing white T-shirts and grey sweatpants. Israeli authorities rejected accusations of mistreatment made by the activists, who were earlier deported to Turkey, Spain and Italy. A lawyer representing more than 470 global Summit Flotilla participants said about 150 people were still being held in Israel's Zitiot prison, including 40 on hunger strike. Well, in what could be the shortest government by a French Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu has resigned, having spent just 26 days on the role. He was appointed after predecessor François Bayrou's government collapsed when MPs refused to back his budget. Lecornu quit a day after unveiling his cabinet, which was largely unchanged from Bayrou's and was fiercely criticized after the board by parties in the National Assembly who threatened to vote it down. The move has plunged the country into a deep political crisis and left President Emmanuel Macron with few options. The Élysée Palace said in a statement that President Macron, who has been hitting record lows in opinion polls, has accepted his resignation. And coming up on The World Today. Thousands gather in Jeonju, South Korea for the Yodong Lantern Festival. More details of this and other stories in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Prosecutors in Australia are appealing the 33-year sentence of mushroom murderer Erin Patterson, describing it as manifestly inadequate. The 51-year-old Patterson was jailed for life last month with no chance of release for at least 33 years for murdering 3 relatives and trying to kill another with a toxic mushroom meal. Patterson's jail term, one of the longest ever handed to a female offender in Australia, means she will be in her 80s before being able to apply for parole. Her appeal is not an automatic right. Her legal team must convince the appeal court in the state of Victoria that there were legal errors and that it should hear the appeal. No details have been given on their grounds for appeal. Japan's Shimon Sakaguchi and U.S. researchers Mary Brunko and Fred Ramsdell have been named recipients of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for 2025. They were awarded for discoveries that explain how the immune system attacks hostile infections, but not the body's own cells. Their work is being used to develop new treatments for autoimmune diseases and cancer. The winners share a prize fund worth 11 million Swedish kronor or $870,000 US. Well, this was honestly a sight to behold on Saturday. Thousands of people gathered in Jeonju, South Korea, for the dazzling Yodong Lantern Festival. Held annually in South Gyeongsang Province, the festival runs from October 4 to 19 and transformed the Nam River into a glowing spectacle of thousands of lanterns blending artistry with historical commemoration. There were colorful lanterns on land and water portraying traditional dances, mythical dragons, dinosaurs, and playful cartoon characters. Their radiant lights created a dreamlike atmosphere, turning the riverside into an open-air gallery.
First time in Korea, first time in Jeonju, and amazing, so many people, everyone walking in his place. No, it's really everything very order, very clean, a lot of fun. So I am very happy to be here.
When I found the festival, looking on the news and what happened in October in Korea, like which type of special events were happening, and when I saw the pictures of previous year, I wanted to go to Jeonju. That's why I came to Jeonju. It was one of the main steps of my journey in Korea. All this lantern in the river is like really impressive sight. I'm really happy that I went to Jeonju for today opening ceremony.
As cultures continue to blend across the world, members of the South Africa's Nigerian community say it's vital to hold on to their identity. This was the message at the Igbo-Fest 2025, hosted by Ohaneze Ndigbo South Africa, where the festival was described as a proud celebration of Igbo heritage and culture. Our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Simosa, reports.
The atmosphere was electric, filled with the rhythms of traditional drums, vibrant cultural dances, colorful attire, and the aroma of authentic Igbo cuisine. The organizer says the festival is more than just a celebration. It is a showcase of heritage, pride, and unity for one of Nigeria's largest ethnic groups living in South Africa.
Interestingly, culture is the pillar of life. And we feel that if we can be able to get our people together and make a statement to our host community to say we are part of them in order to build social cohesion with our host community. And I feel it can also promote our own togetherness, because if we are divided as Igbos, we cannot achieve anything.
I asked attendees, in what way does the festival help preserve and promote Igbo culture among the younger generation?
We teach our children how to go from generation to generation, remembering that we've come from somewhere. Even though we're in a foreign land, we still imbibe our culture and live it. Our children know they are born in South Africa, but they come from somewhere. So those cultures and values that we hold very sacred to our heart, we want them to transcend from generation to generation.
It is very important. We have a lot to learn here today. Even our kids have a lot to learn here today. That the Igbos, for the first time, are showcasing their culture, their heritage in South Africa. So it's huge.
Some say the event has the potential to strengthen ties between South Africa and Nigeria.
We would also want to show South Africans that we are of a diverse but also interconnected breed. We're all Africans. Our cultures intermingle in one way or another. So it is extremely important.
This event is very, very important because, one, we are all Africans. Two, we have cultures. And three, the only way to narrate your story is to keep your culture and your identity.
My message to my brothers here is to continue to maintain the Igbo culture and to continue to live in dignity and with more respect to the host community that is in South Africa. Igbos are known for their culture and respect. So my message is one love, one unity, and they continue to maintain the Igbo tradition and culture.
It was indeed a beautiful day with colorful traditional attire.
I'm wearing an Igbo attire. It's like a George, an Igbo George. Yes. It's a traditional thing. And remember, a lot of people don't go to Nigeria like every time. So sometimes you want to bring Nigeria to the diaspora. So this is we bringing Nigeria to the diaspora. So now we get to experience Nigeria in South Africa.
My mom is actually the one selling this. It's pricey because it's straight from Nigeria. We call it Ishagu. So it means lion, but then lion head. And you can see the symbols here. It's pretty pricey, but it's worth it because of the culture.
What an inspirational, motivational time it has been here. Indeed, this was a celebration of culture and, of course, heritage. The message here is clear. Collaboration is key in achieving tremendous results. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
And that's our program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.